Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Disabled Vets Perspective, and welcome to another show. As you know, I am Alex, as C has said, and I will be your host for the next hour or so, or ish, depending on if my weather holds out. Definitely still look like I'm in the witness relocation program and speaking on, incognito. Hello, drop it like it's Scott. Northern Tiger 12B Hondo jumped in here. Margot, of course, good to see you guys. And California Crickets in the house. C2, Duke Rawl, Jeff B, 12B, what's happening? DM the Mod. Well, got a good crowd, Luciano, how you doing? Or should I say, as Pete would say, how you doing? I didn't think he'd ever stop talking. I figured that, he was going to just keep going and going and going. Was going to have him on my show today, but apparently he's mad at me now, so he didn't want to join me today. But that's his thing. Whatever. Something about having to go pick up his wife, and I figured that priorities have to be established. But I think picking up his wife is probably the best idea because I would not want to be responsible for the one delaying that pickup, and she would hunt me down. Matthew, I saw your video the other day, today actually. I watched it just a little while ago. Interesting stuff. It was good stuff. Kelly 22, good to see you. Saw Kenneth nicely jump in here, and JB and Walter, how you doing? 223's in the house. All right. Today, what the hell is going on in Seattle? That's that's a really good question. But here's one that's even more funny. What the hell's going in Minneapolis too? Yes, folks, apparently there are safe zones, and we're going to talk about them today. Jared Freeman, how you doing? I don't know what they consider safe. There's not going to be any groceries. There's not going to be any first responders unless some of the Antifa might be trained as a medic. Made some folks mad. Yeah, well, Matthew, you know what? You can't please everybody every time. And the best thing about humans is they tend to bounce right back. They recover quickly from being offended. So it's always a good thing. Inkfish, how you doing? So apparently Antifa has taken over 6 city blocks in Seattle, and they're calling it their free zone. Apparently, free zone means that the businesses are subject to looting at any given moment. That if you are a criminal, you are quite free to do your bidding upon the victims in your community. Free could also mean grocery free, because I'm going to tell you, as a former truck driver, there are a lot of drivers that wouldn't go up in there, because here's the dealio, yo. As a truck driver, cross-country type, a lot of companies won't let you carry a protection device. And that is the guarantee that I will not work for any company in that fashion, because I will never put myself in a position to be somebody's biatch. Your house is a safe zone. Safe for my family and friends. Don't try to breach, or you will see how safe it really is. I can absolutely believe that. Drop it like a Scott. Just watch the 9mm Mondays. They just keep coming, and there seems to be a different tool every weekend. Oh, wait a minute. Did I say tool? Oh, yeah, that's right, because it's a freaking tool. It's not a independent freestyle killing machine. The tool needs an operator. Let's see. I'm going to be doing my talking, but I'm going to try to pay a lot better attention to my chat too, so I can give you guys your opportunities to ask questions and see how it's going. Over here on D Live, Carmageddon's in the house. Mark B, Debbie19, DM, of course. That's her twin over there, her clone. Namvet, good to see you. Cindy Duff, why is that being allowed? The president needs to take action. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. Ken Nicely, thank you for dropping a diamond. All right, Lisa Believes over here too. Good to see you. Anyway, so Seattle's not alone. Apparently, this morning I got word that Minneapolis also has a 4-block area that they have considered their zone. Um, the safe zone thing is starting to look an awful lot like the militant, I guess you would call it militant safe zones, the Islamic regions, the Sharia regions over in Europe, and I think it's going to be a matter of time before you start seeing everybody walking around in their cloaks in these little safe zones. But here's the deal. This is the most important part of this is we have elected officials at the highest levels in these states that are allowing a terrorist organization to occupy land within their state. Uh, there's a list of crimes in there, and that's probably pretty extensive. But again, we are not, yeah, Pam M. Sharia law zones, you're right. We are not getting satisfaction from our lawmakers and our supposedly our allies. And I'll re-emphasize again, like I've said on a couple of videos now, the uh, the first party of this country before there was a party system, it was a citizenry that ran our government, which was what it was designed for. The first party to ever exist was called the Democratic Republican Party. Democrats Republican Party. They were not democratic. It was a Democrat Republican Party. So it is, again, the same shit in the same toilet. They just use different spoons. So every day we're starting to see how much the line is blurred between these groups. When the Republicans are in charge of everything, the Republicans are rah, rah, ree, we're going to kick you in the knee. I mean, help you as much as we need. And the opposing party is, we're going to resist everything that they try to do because they're not helping half the country. And then you swap and you got the Democrats in the control and they're saying, yeah, we're going to help you with everything you need. And the other party's going, we're going to resist them because they are stopping the progress of this country. So it's the same shit. I watched the interview with Barr, Attorney General Barr. Respectfully, freedom is not free. Home of the free because of the brave. Yes, Lisa, believe that's right. Anyway, so I watched his interview, and one of the things that he said to me really kind of bothered me. He didn't say it to me, but he might have been talking to me. But, I think I'm more famous than I feel like I am. So he could have been talking directly to me. Anyway, so it pissed me off. He says this, I am frustrated with the consensus that the public has saying that I'm not doing this and I'm not arresting them and, they're getting away with this. And he hits them with that response of, well, the wheels of justice turn slowly. I am sick of hearing that crap because if you or me or any of our closest friends did even a fraction of what they've got evidence of right now, we would be arrested. We would have a bail set in the stratosphere of biblical amounts of money would be put towards our bail, and we would sit in jail while they put the case together for the prosecution. And if you are a money-loving member of our society and you have that clout and that ability, you get to enjoy a completely free life, showing up on television on regular basis, berating the American people and insulting the shit out of us. You get to do all of this while they're sitting back there piling up evidence. Evidence doesn't mean a damn thing if they don't use the evidence to get their asses locked up. Put an arrest warrant out. Arrest the son of a bitches. Put them in jail. Let them be brought before a judge. Give them a bail. These people are an extreme danger to our society, a serious threat to the well-being of the American people. And all you need to do is know that. And as a judge, you could slap a $270 million bail on them. And then they would sit their asses in jail where they belong right now because the evidence is overwhelming and not substantial. I mean, not it's not assumed the guilt. I mean, this stuff is hard paper, paper trails, money trails. They've got everything. So, well, Pam, I agree with the no bail, except there's one thing that the justice system, I know that they would do that to us, of course, no bail. They would just remand without bail. But in the legal system, we are supposed to be allowed an opportunity to bail out while we are waiting trial. But the way they avoid that is by making bail that's so high that not even a billionaire could afford it. Hugo Chavez, I believe, is one example. Not Chavez. The drug lord they just got from Mexico after he finished his services to the Democrat Party. They arrested him. He broke out a couple of times, and yeah, Soros is a trillionaire, but in that case, yeah, there's got to be some things. Air helicopter tours will be more effective. 15-minute shuttles from downtown Seattle to the Puget Sound. Oh, that's interesting. No one at that level goes to jail. They have dirt on each other. You tell on me, I'll tell on you. Hearings have been going on for years. Stall tactics to appease those who believe in equal justice. Yeah, I get all that. El Chapo, thank you. Yeah, he's an example of somebody who had piles and piles of money and they remanded without bail. But then he still had his cronies get him out a couple times. We've had everything we need to charge them all with treason, although McConnell and Graham are just sitting on their duffs. Don't trust Graham. That I would say, that's just a pretty face with a voice, but no, that's not even the case. He's a schmuck. You have to remember, people have short memories. That Graham used to hang out with McStain. I mean, where McStain stopped, Graham ended up his ass because he was up there so far. So I do not trust Graham. He was given a medal by the Ukrainian president during the peak of the corruption that was going on over there. He and McStain were both given one. So anybody who sits there and says, "Oh, Graham's doing the right thing," Graham is nothing but a yapper. He's like one of those little dogs that you have inside the fence, and he's going yip 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 yip, bouncing back and forth and stuff, and you just know that even though he's a little shit, as soon as you get in that gate, he's going to start nipping at your ankles, and it's going to be like little flea bites. That's kind of what I see in a Graham. He talks a lot. That man will sing like a songbird and tell you all the pretty things and mention all the pretty flowers, and then does absolutely nothing. Truth Seeker, how you doing? America first. Good to see you. The only way justice will be served is if we all show up with pitchforks and torches. Yeah, the only difference is our torches make a lot of noise, and the pitchforks, they're usually single blade now, very tactical. More like a purse dog. Yeah, that's okay. That's a good one. Yeah, Graham is like a purse dog. Raul Duarte de Andrade Adeo. How you doing? I know, I'm trying. If we had some kind of way of showing the pronunciation of that, I could probably get it. I don't have a torch. Can I bring my flamethrower? Absolutely. Duke's got the flamethrower. But anyway, so I know I've jumped all over the place because I'm trying to get to my thing that's concerning me. we are seeing these zones being established within these Democrat neighborhoods, and the word is that the people that have residents in there are allowing the Antifa to use their bathrooms, to give them shelter and all this other. The big question I have is that voluntary? All right, drop it like a Scott. You can have one too. Um, is it voluntary, or are they being, uh, you know, asked in a most aggressive manner if they can supply the Antifa with things? Um, it's kind of like gangland. Um, in the 1970s, there were gangs in these cities that were, I mean, of every description, every color, every race, whatever, but they had their zones. They all owned their zones. And are we going to go back to this now, that if you aren't of this particular gangbanger association, you're not allowed to go into the zone? Republican convention looking at Savannah, Georgia. People are opposed to it. We might catch COVID. Of course, they're never going to let COVID die. Uh, you got a tater gun, Debbie? Right on. I built one of those when I was a kid, and then I had to buy a new door for the neighbor's car and pay to have the interior shampooed because I forgot I was holding it over the trigger. Ended up squeezing that puppy and shot through the passenger door and blew up inside the car. So yeah, that sucked. I had a lot of money saved up. I had just bought a truck, was going to buy my rims and tires and do all my good stuff, and all that money went with my potato gun. Apparently, 125 psi on a two and a quarter inch and potato gun is probably a little high. But anyway, so that was that. Do I want to show them my new toy? Sure, why not? Go grab it. I'll show it to them. All right. So, yeah, 12-ounce sodas. Yeah, I thought about that too. Anyway, so my wife wants me to show you guys this because it's so damn neat. Look at this. Look at this. See this guy? All right. Everybody knows who that is. Watch this blade. Check that out. Can you imagine some poor bastard losing all their sleep trying to figure out how to do that? Isn't that cool? We're so easily entertained here. I'm just fascinated by it. And there it goes. All right. Yeah, that's and now the dog has seen it, so she's probably going to claim that one too. Um, yeah, I bought the wife or got was given a nice little stuffed animal for the wife, and walked in the door with it and was holding it up at my chest so I could walk it in and get it to her. And my little dog Penny, she jumped all the way up to my chest, grabbed that thing, and ran off. And I said, "Well, that was yours." So, oh well. Anyway, so where are we at? We are talking about the lack of law. Now, the other thing about this deal is we've supposedly President Trump has declared Antifa a terrorist organization. And if this is the case, if it's actually documented, it's on paper, then how can we possibly let terrorists occupy land in this country? It seems to me that there would be enough patriots to get together and do a freedom of movement walk through this area, dressed to the hilt, packed to the max, and willing and able with a smile, of course, to protect themselves. Um, all it takes is one shot, and that neighborhood will have liberation. It will be free. So I don't know what it's going to take. Money talks, Dems walk. Yep. Uh, let's see. Not for Trump rallies. Yeah, they're protected from COVID, I think. I have a spud launcher that my brother-in-law gave me. I've never used it. Oh, Mark, you got to use it. What a rush. Oh no, I have a little rule. I leave all of the presentations of the bang bang boom booms to my good friend over there. Drop it like it's Scott. Mine will never make a presence known on any social media, and that's just my thing. But just rest assured that I'm taken care of. Uh, it's just that's in my blood. I think it sort of comes comes along with being former military. You realize the importance of it. Dangerous freedom. How you doing? So anyway, the biggest part about this whole thing is the blowing the smoke. The president declares Antifa a terrorist organization, but nothing again is being done about it. It is word service. Um, you lost all your tools in a boating accident. So did I, brother. That sucks. You would think by now I would learn never to set something outside the rub rail or outside of the gunnel of the boat. That's why it's there to keep everything from falling over. And sure enough, I set them up there. Wave rolled off, they went. Yeah. So I mean, that's the other reason I don't show them on here, obviously, because they're gone already. So, yeah. So anyway, all the lip service that we're getting, you guys keep interrupting me. Good grief. We're getting it from Attorney General Barr. We get it from Lindsey Graham. We get it from the President of the United States. And frankly, we get it from Q too. Now, some people will say, oh, you're just turning on us. You're losing your faith or whatever. No, I'm not. I'm extremely observant. And you can maybe get me once or twice, but I'm going to catch up and I'm going to see that there's something going on. Can anyone recommend a biometric pistol safe? Drop it like it's got. That's got to be your department. I wouldn't know. MD Toe forever. How you doing? Anyway, so the lip service is getting excessive, and the more I hear the promises made, promises kept, I start asking which promises. And again, I support President Trump because I know that the alternative is the loss of our country completely. But I'm sick of being forced to support a Democrat or a Republican because Jared, try refreshing because YouTube's been buffering the shit out of people lately. Anyway, so what the hell was I saying? So I support him because I have to, because I cannot support a communist takeover of this country, and the Democrats have never been in favor of the country. Once they separated from the Republican, at least verbally, it no longer was the Democrat Republic Party. It was, they separated. And then supposedly the argument you get is, oh, well, in 1964 they trade places, and that's not at all true. It was a sham job, just like everything else. Just to keep people voting for him. And Johnson was not a good man. That was a racist piece of shit. And he said a certain quote that if people just look at the stuff, they'd see what the hell their real leaders think about them. Jeff B, check out the Gun Vault, GVB 1000 Mini Vault. Cool. They will find them anywhere in your home or yard. Believe that, folks. Not entirely true. But the other thing is, who the hell's going to find them? We're disbanding and alienating and pissing off the cops. So are they still going to perform the duties for the people that want to be tyrannical and take our freedoms? Think about that. Guess where they're going to run to? The same cops that were arresting the freedom-loving people for running their businesses and sitting on the beach by themselves or paddleboarding out in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden, they're going to have to start moseying back up to those people and say, we were wrong. It was a mistake. We were following orders of a a tyrant, and they're going to have some Maricopas to take care of. But when all that's said and done, and the disbanding of the police happens, guess where the police are going to go? They're going to go get hired in the conservative districts, and they're going to have nice long careers, and they're going to have respect and order. But they're coming to our side. They will be standing with us when the left decides to make their move. And right now, there's this real hard push with the Floyd family, and I say that loosely. That whole thing's a sham. But I got another video on that, something fishy going on, and you guys can look at that. But there's too much to that I could take apart. Big offices want to have the people call for lead in the United Nations police. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. The push, the Floyd family writing letters to the leaders of the UN, telling them to intervene and come disarm our cops. As former military, as a patriot, as American, I promise you that the blue helmets come to this soil with the intention of anything being done to the American people. They have declared themselves an enemy combatant on foreign soil, and we will defend this country accordingly. The liberals right now think that they're the all-powerful, almighty super gods, and they think that we will bow to them if there's enough pressure and enough "you're a racist" thrown around to make us all feel all bad and mushy and stuff. No. You get away with that crap in your liberal hive mind zones, but out here in the real world, you're just a gnat. And when it's time to flick you off our nose, it'll be done. Trust me, it'll be done. And the more the left pushes us, the closer it is to getting done. And what they want is a civil war. And I'm going to tell you just firsthand, the Antifa is getting training by the same organizations that financed ISIS. And sometimes they're working alongside ISIS fighters to learn tactics and maneuvers. I got news for you. The people that are training them, they suck. So all these yes ma'am people and all this other that are doing all these jobs for the deep state, they suck. The reason they're doing it for the deep state is because they couldn't make it in real society. They have to do things in the shadows because they suck. And I'll keep saying they suck, because when they piss off the patriots, then we're coming. If the blue helmets show up down our street, we're coming. And you just take some time and look at the edginess in the air right now with the patriots that have channels up here. There's an edginess. Jesus, Grizzly, you're like a bulldozer. You come through this house and bang into everything. Lay down. But don't lick my damn chair. Lay down. Look at that monster. He's like, what? What did I do? Yeah, that's why I don't worry too much about my place. Like I said, I've got him, and I've also got the tools. So when I get done using my tools, I let him do the cleanup. Goofy. All right, so the edginess is I'm talking about with the I will have the Ronin tactical helmet. Check it out. Cool. It's getting close. There's a boiling point, and the civil war that they want. Now, who is their civil war going to be against? Is that going to be against Antifa? Because most of those kids can still barely wipe their own ass without mother helping them. They are idiots. They've got adults in the group that I guess call themselves adults. But I've watched some of their videos, some of their training videos, some of their tactics, some of the things they talk about. Oh, go for the eyes. It's an easy, soft target. You try that, Junior. Easy soft target. That's the trick. They go after the soft targets and they try to come in with a mob. But as if you've been trained in the military, combat trained, then there's a point where you lose your ability to go to a put up your dukes bar fight, which those were kind of fun too when I was going to the army, but that's a different story. But anyway, when you get attacked by a group of people, you don't come on, boy, let's put up our dukes and let's go do this thing. No, there's a little thing called kill shots, and they go after the soft targets because they know that if they go after them as a mob, there's nothing they can do. They can beat the stew out of them. It gives them an ego boost. They show the videos in their Antifa little bookstores, and everybody gets a laugh out of it. They're going to do that to the wrong person. Now, me, I have a little disadvantage. I can't use my legs like I used to. I did karate. I've done Dragon Kempo, Aikido, Wodo, Combat Do. So, mixed martial arts. I've done it. But my legs don't respond as well as they used to because of nerve damage in my sciatics. So I still have my upper body. I still have the mindset of a warrior, but my legs don't always want to listen. So they might have an advantage. But because they would have an advantage, there's no chance in hell that I'm going to make it to the ground and start being kicked and pulverized without, I would say, seeing how many I can take with me. And it's never going to be, I'm going to punch you in the eye. It's going to be a lot different. So that's something that Antifa needs to understand. They like going after old guys. And because of all this gray, all this kind of crap going on, I am qualifying as an old guy. But I don't know what it is. I don't get confronted by people aggressively. And maybe it's because I carry myself like a predator. I don't know. Yeah, dangerous freedom, you're right. I mean, that's the other option. But if I was ever surprised by a mob, then I guarantee you that I'd be grabbing for things that will dispose of them quickly. But anyway, so they won't take me on. And I guess that's, like I said, I carry myself like a predator, not a prey animal. And I guess you can see that in crowds sometimes. But this civil war is going to be just a minute. When they get to the point where the patriots are sick of it and the police have decided, you know what, piss on it. They're going to do this thing. We're not going to get in their way because, the Democrats don't want us anyway. As soon as the police get out of the way and stop protecting the criminals and the enemies of this country, then it'll be taken care of in just a minute. But then the wish is going to backfire on the Democrats because it's no longer going to be a civil war. That'll be over probably as quick as it starts. But the Revolutionary War, because we are controlled by a foreign enemy, our leaders are beholden to foreign nations, which qualifies them as foreign invaders to our country and anti-constitutional members of society that are a threat to the safety and the well-being of the American people. So the Civil War will be a minute. We'll get that done. Get the streets safe again for the people who want to live here and be respectful and upstanding people within our community. We will get rid of the trash. Just a few minutes, that'll be done. But then, guess where we're going? It's going to be a matter of taking out the threat to the country. So I hope that they understand all this. And, I'm not going to advocate violence. I am describing what is called defense. And apparently, if you try to defend yourself from attackers, the police at this point are coming towards you. They're not going towards the people that do the attacking. So everything is backwards. Debbie, thank you for the ice cream. Appreciate you. Let me jump over here a second and see if I missed anything on my D Live. Yep, lurking. Old Duke. All right. You just look like you won't make someone hop. Look like you would make someone hop. Well, I guess it was bred in me, but no, I believe that you can carry yourself as a target or what I call a prey animal, or you can carry yourself as a predator. And looking everybody in the eyes when you're talking to them or when you're going through a crowd, making that eye contact, you can learn a lot about what somebody's got going on by looking them in the eyes. And primates consider looking somebody in the eyes as a threat. And if you can look somebody in the eyes without turning away, I guess that means that they would question your motives and your intentions. And I guess that's my habit. I don't tend to turn away. If somebody locks eyes with me, we're going to be staring at each other until we both walk into a street lamp or something, because I don't do that. I don't cower. I don't turn away. And basically, I guess that's where it comes from. You look at everyone. I do too. That's part of the reason I can't stand going into crowded areas, because I don't want to be in a place where I can't see everybody, see what's going on. I want to look everybody in the eyes and know what their intentions are, what their plan is, and you can learn a lot. So, yes, please follow my D Live. If you have not yet, please jump over there and follow my D Live. Thank you, DM, for posting that, because even this video, I'm sure it'll be yellow flagged, and then ultimately it'll be demonetized because I'm talking too much about the realities of what's going on in this country. And so, it's you got to get on my D Live. Dog adopter, I'm in Southern California. I guess I could go to Pete's or California Critics. Yeah, that's the thing. People have to have networks. Antifa's not the one you have to worry about. It's their moms and their soccer fans. Yeah, getting hit with a soccer ban sucks. I imagine that would hurt a bit. We have to keep in mind that when we destabilize our enemies, we'll take advantage. The China, Russia, uh, yeah, they will. There are already Chinese soldiers that are staged up in Tijuana and in Chihuahua. They are already down there. That's been, if you listen to Matthew's show that he just did this morning on Truth Not Fiction Matters, um, there's mention of the soldiers that are in Tijuana that are just waiting for the go sign. So when it's time to go, we will be attacked from all sides, and we're going to have the UN up our ass. We're going to have, the Antifa gnats that we're going to have to flick off of us. We're going to have Chinese soldiers that are very likely going to be here. We're going to have Venezuelan soldiers that are going to be teamed up with them. We're going to be at it from all directions. And your armor is shipping today. Cool. I've had mine for quite a while now. I would like to upgrade my plates, though. Right now they're rated, but not rated very well. But I just have to say that everybody needs to be ready. You start now having to pay attention to the people that do the prepping channels, because you have to be prepped. You got to be ready. You have to have your food, your water. You have to have sterilization capabilities for water in case it gets shut off. Alternative energy sources, solar panels, generators, bicycle generators, whatever it takes to keep yourself afloat during this stuff, because when the move is made, you're not going to have power. They're going to kill the power. And that's part of the reason I wish that the president would jump up right now and say, I need the Patriots to arm up and make ready, because it's going to go down. And if you watched the D Live special last night with Pete and I, we were talking about this a bit, that it's going to go down. And the president needs to have us, he needs to realize we're there. But right now there's so many people pulling at his jacket and stuff. I don't think he's getting anything done. They've managed to get him in so many different directions that nobody can get one thing done, and that's been part of the goal. But okay, anyhow, so get ready, get your stuff together. I always say be ready so you never have to get ready, and be ready to defend yourself, be ready to mobilize if you have to. Uh, Create community networks of people that are like minded, and be very cautious who you bring into that network, because that's one of the favorite things of the FBI and the CIA is to infiltrate militias. That's why I say that every person in America is considered the militia. So don't put a title to your name. I am with this militia, I'm with that militia. Don't do it, because you're also tagged. It's That's part of their game. That's how they stay ahead of everything. If you just consider yourself a free thinking, independent uh, protector of the Constitution, then you're already tagged, but you're not going to be put under the microscope. When you declare yourself part of a militia, then you are part of the microscope. They're going to dissect your entire background and everything so that they know what to expect from you. That's the problem. They have the capability of spying on us from every direction, and it's very difficult to coordinate with your network and things like that, because everything that you would use to coordinate is now controlled by the government, and they do follow it. They keep track of it. So you can't make plans with technology anymore. Everything has to be done with horse and buggy and courier and you know very unsophisticated manners need to be used to coordinate with your group. What do you call zombies protesting? Answer: rioting, looting, leftists. That's pretty good. I just carry a constitutional. Constitution says I can always have. Me too. I mean, I've never I've never let the law or the rules that they try to implement make my decisions. I've always done things based on the Constitution, so I have no shame in that. But I will tell you that I did get my CCW license here in Florida because, as you know, when you put your face out here on the networks and you start talking about the way the government is failing and the things that they can do to change, then you get put under a microscope. Drive it like it's Scott. Take it easy. Thanks for hanging out, man. We'll see you later. So anyway, Fuzz Fork, how you doing? Um, yeah, I got myself legalized. I would say illegalized, but I had to do it because if I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing here, um, as soon as they look me up, they know that I've had an ATF license, I've had a USDA license, I've had all these things that are so deep in our government that it's impossible to hide from them anymore, because they've got your fingerprints, your firstborn, your blood sample, everything, and so I make sure that I have my crap. Yeah, Phil, it's a good idea. I mean, it's stupid that we have to have permission to use our constitutional rights, which we don't. But until the corrupted justice system is even attempted to be fixed, we have to do what we got to do. Um, Jared, I believe that's probably pretty close. And some of those came in when China had Long Beach. They had control of the seaports down there. Um, your wife's taking the class on Sunday. Cool. Yeah, I've taught my wife how to handle you know, our stuff if I had it still. So anyway, so she knows how to do it, and we know what needs to be done. Um, my son's pretty well trained up. Um, got another veteran that I let stay on my property, and he's real close personal friend of mine. He's staying in one of my empty dwellings down here, but he's he's ready to. So I would say whenever, bring it on. Whatever they feel like they have to do. For one thing, I'm not afraid to die, but I'm also I'm not afraid to let somebody else die for their country. So, they have that choice. My kids know how to shoot. Yeah, good. But here's the trick, though. It's one thing to shoot a metal target, even a silhouette. It's another thing entirely to take a life. And I've told you guys this on other occasions that when you take a life, you have to understand that you get to go to bed with that person for the rest of your life. You will see their face. It will be there every single time you close your eyes to go to sleep. You have to be able to take that and put it somewhere so that you understand what it is you got going on and it doesn't overwhelm you psychologically. Um, I don't have any protection. I was trying to get a feel of a neighbor, and yep, he sees none of this stuff going on, but I'd like to at least get neighbors on board. Yeah, that is important. Um, but again, you've got to be careful. Nobody knows who to trust right now. I can tell you and look directly into the camera, looking into your eyes, and tell you you could trust me because when I say something, I'll do it. It's a promise, not a suggestion. But it's hard to find people that you can really trust. The problem is money is so powerful, and offering awards and rewards to people for turning in their neighbors is a thing. Ever since they mastered it in World War II with the brown shirts and the neighbors turning in neighbors, they got good at that crap. Uh, you can put it to good use. Don't just put it away and ignore it. Well, it's not what I meant. I don't ignore it. I do. I understand why I see these people every night when I go to bed because I took I took their essence from them, and their life is their essence. So I realize why I have to see them. I have to be reminded, but I also understand that there were no choices that I could make at the time to make a difference. So when I say put it away, I mean I don't dwell on anything that I've done in my past, and I don't have guilt or anxiety of it. I realize that there's things that I had to do that most people would consider the ultimate sin, and you do what you got to do. Um, if I seem distracted, I have some car problems. I thought you looked like something funny going on. Yeah, I got a motorcycle problem. I'm trying to get my Harley running so I can get it out of here. I traded that and my box truck and my Kia and got myself one of these Jeep Gladiators, and now I'm trying to get my damn bike going so I can get it out of here because it's been sitting for about a couple of years now because of the fact that I can't hold it up at streetlights anymore. My legs are too damn shaky, so I just haven't ridden it. But now I'm trying to get it running so I can get it out of here. It's frustrating as hell. Um, if an EMP hits trying to get my parents out of here will be impossible. Uh, you know, networks of people. Um, Now, the reason I went ahead and I got this Gladiator, kind of changing the subject a little bit here, is all part of being prepared. Something that is capable of overland. My little Kia was not. Something with ground clearance, something with a good running engine, quiet. And right now it's absolutely stunningly beautiful in a black and red. But I realize that if the things go to shit, I can pick up green, black, and brown rattle cans and I can turn that thing into a tree. Man, that would suck to have to do it, but I can. So that I also consider it my bug out vehicle and my vehicle for staging and stuff like that. So it's a good idea to have some kind of transportation, uh, dirt bike, 4x4, something, high water vehicle, whatever, that you can move around in. My mom has secondary MS. She's confined to a power chair. Well, um, I know there's going to be difficulties when people have to move into locations for security. But in that type of situation, if you're talking about a fast escape, a retreat, then if you have a pickup truck, you know somebody who does, a very simple 2x12 ramp right up into the back of the truck. Just wheel them in there, cross tie the chair, make sure their seatbelt's in there, and go. Do what you got to do. Everything is going to require some analysis, some thought, and a process to get it done. Going through scenarios in your mind, maybe doing drills with the people within your network. Uh, and I'm not saying to get up and run. I'm saying if you have to retreat so that you can regroup and come in and change your tactical approach, that's what I'm talking about. Um, I'm not going to. I'm not going to be giving away my territory like the Democrats are doing in the cities. They will have to work very, very hard to make that happen. And if I have to retreat from my territory to regroup, then you could damn near guarantee I'll be back. So I'd be one of those gnats. I'd be a pain until I got my zone back. So how are we going to do that if an EMP hits? Well, here's the thing about an EMP. I think some of that is scare tactics because they talk about if you put everything in a Faraday cage that it'll be protected from an EMP. And a Faraday cage is a system where everything that you own is put into a steel box or a cage, and it sits on rubber so that it's not in contact with that cage. And supposedly EMP hits and the cage gets wrapped with magnetism, and everything inside of it survives. Well, if you think logically based on what they're talking about, then why is your car not an EMP protecting device? Is it not a metal cage that is protected from the ground by rubber? Um, think about your, like I've got one of these steel buildings as a garage, and I put my concrete slab down and I put metal grating into the slab to hold the concrete together. And when I put my steel onto the concrete, I also made sure that all of my concrete framing is grounded to the steel as well. So don't I also have a Faraday cage in that system? The point is, a lot of what is done is hold on a second. No, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I will go fast and hard, take as many as I can with me. I know where I'm going in the end. I'm ready to see my son. I miss him. All right, I can understand that. But just remember, if you're capable of going hard, you can also go hard and back down and go hard again. Um, the key is we don't want to sacrifice ourselves for the good of America. I mean, we are willing to, but we also have to be able to say, I need to hang on as long as I can and continue to do everything I can to ensure the safety and protection of those around me. And when it's time to go, when you do get snuffed, then you can go with a smile on your face and you say, I did what I needed to do. So, yeah, EMP shield is another option if you're concerned about EMP. Um, they have them for your car, your house, whatever. But okay, fine. I'm just old and in the way. I'm a pig. Okay, well, that's okay too, because all you have to do is be a pain in the ass. You got to look at it this way. If we're going to end up taking on the UN or the Chinese or whatever, we're going to be taking on an organized military with incredible funding. We are not going to stand in a field and go, ready, rifles, and then first row squat and the second row fire. No. The tactics that have to be used with this type of combat, if you're going to be taking on an organized military, you have to be a gorilla, not a guerrilla, a gorilla. You got to be able to know how to duck into the woods, come out, make some havoc, and duck back in the woods. And, we'll get it. They tested something, I just lost it. They tested it with small EMPs, although a high altitude nuclear EMP will even penetrate the surface into a quarter mile. Yeah, but Here's the thing that I also want to mention about an EMP. Remember, I said, how do we know what is really shielded from an EMP? None of the military vehicles are hardened. So why don't they harden our military vehicles? You got to think about it that way. If this thing is supposed to eliminate the ability of our cars to continue to go, why aren't the military vehicles hardened? And I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it's not the EMP that's the threat. I think that when they decide they're going to have the EMP, there's a light switch somewhere. Think about all the electronics in the cars, and how they've made it difficult for people to register older cars because of no emissions control, things like that. There are things you have to deal with. All the new cars have all these computers. They're so sophisticated. When they say, "Oh, an EMP hit," all that somebody has to do is go click and hit that little button, and maybe they just turn everything off. So that's the thing I think about too, because the other thing that's very simple to think about is, if you are a foreign nation and you want to come and you want to take over a country like China wants to do to us, why would you destroy that country and make it so that it would take you 50 to 100 years to rebuild it? Why why wouldn't you just turn it off like a light switch? Go in, do whatever you think you have to do, wait until you can go and plant your flag on the top of the hill and claim that territory, and then turn the light switch back on. So that's why I think about it that way. Military vehicles have very little electronics. Yeah, but it doesn't. If we're talking about an EMP, according to their rules, a solenoid, a distributor, those are supposed to be things that'll fail too. So I'm just saying to think about it in the terms of everything you hear from the media, everything the government ever tells us. It's all designed to keep us in fear. Use logic when you think of this kind of stuff. Uh, Compare and contrast. Like I'm saying, the military vehicles, they don't have any hardening whatsoever, and they do have electrical in them, especially radio trucks. What about those? The comm trucks that run around with all the antennas and stuff, they're not hardened either. So I'm just saying. Uh, you have a pull start scooter, yeah, that's pretty good too. Um, be back later, okay? Take care. America First, those items are quite cheap. Just look at your computer. Let's see. Look at your computer when there is a electrical storm. If not protected by a surge protector, you fry your stuff. Yeah, same thing though. I mean, if we're talking about that kind of thing, you're not really hardened. You're plugged into something that is designed to fail, and that's the same kind of thing that I'm talking about with cars and stuff like that. Their rubber tires keep them grounded so that there's no contact with the earth. So the car itself, being a metal car, that's your Faraday cage, and it should protect all of your electronic devices within it because it's grounded. Here's some good info on YouTube. You can find videos on how to make EMPs for less than $5. You can use these small EMPs to take out drones. Yeah, that's that's interesting stuff. But in that situation, you're actually disrupting the signal between the operator and the equipment. It's more of a frequency jamming than it is an electromagnetic pulse. Problem is, EMP takes out the grid, no power to nothing. Well, again, I'm saying that I'm thinking that instead of an EMP actually doing these things, I'm thinking that there's some devious person with a bald cat, going, bring on the electromagnetic pulse. And somebody goes, okay, and pushes a button, everything turns off. That's why I'm saying if you're talking about a country that's wanting to be invaded by another country and they want to take it over and they want to move in with a smooth transition after they supposedly won the war, they don't want to have everything where they have to completely rebuild it. So they just turn it all off, get everybody scared and get everybody starved out and do all that. And then when everything's in your favor, you turn it all back on. If there was an EMP, would solar still work? That's an interesting question, because if they're talking about, oh, it fries the circuitry, then why would your solar panels work? Because that's like the ultimate circuitry. The answer is they would probably work, because your solar panels, again, are technically a Faraday cage. It's just a matter of making sure you get your ground deep enough so that everything that would go around the aluminum cage of your solar panel would ultimately go down into the ground. If China comes, they might use their neutron neutron bomb, which is very scary. Yeah, but just remember we have those too, so we can say, okay, if you're gonna try to kick us off, we're gonna kick you with us. Mutually assured destruction. That's the thing that keeps a lot of people alive, um, because although the craziness within governments right now, with people not giving two shits about their constituents or their people, they'll at this point I think they'll do anything. They want to bring the population down to 500 million anyway, and that's worldwide. So at this point, they will do whatever it takes with no concern for human life at all. Um, Feed the bugs to your pets. Cool. Um, you can also use Wi-Fi and cellular blockers to shut down communications and disrupt drones. Right. Anything that you can do to disrupt communication, you can do. Um, Something as simple as a linear on a CB. If you if you want to stop electronic equipment from really working well when it comes close to you, you just key that mic. If you have a linear on there, a couple thousand watts of linear booster, then whatever's within that range of your house is going to be completely disrupted. Um, uh, if we assume the nation's not playing on the same team, well, half of our nation we can assume is going to be playing on the same team. That's why I figure only half of us. But you also got to remember only 3% of the population fought to keep this country free or to make it free in the revolution. So you got to look at those numbers. 3% out of 300 roughly 20 million people in the country. That's a substantial number. That's a pretty solid standing army right there. Uh, it was quite obvious the other day when the 75-year-old man was in front of the police officers and fell to the ground after being pushed out of the way. He was trying to disrupt their communications. Yeah, he was trying to find their band, their frequency band. That whole thing is, uh, that whole situation is turning to shit too. People are coming forward with the irregularities of it. Um, yeah, Flag Day is a weekend. Don't forget. One could clearly see he was taking his phone and simply trying to triangulate and mirror the police officer's communications. Right. But they also got images of him squeezing a bulb in his left hand, that when he would squeeze it, more blood would pop out. And there, if you look at the close up of his face, it looks like he's got the tube right there behind his ear. So that it looks like he's set up to push the blood out. Um, but how many will support our movement? 3% will turn to 30 plus. Well, that's true, but most people won't act until they see that there's a winning team. Most people will not act, period. They are too afraid. They don't want to get involved. They don't feel like they have something to put into it. So, yeah, you've got scenarios. Um, saw someone key up a CB and light up a fluorescent light next to the antenna. Yeah, I used to do that. Um, I actually installed a red light bulb on top of my antenna so that every time I keyed down, the light bulb would come on. It was kind of funny. Um, uh, yep, leg and ankle injuries, that'll do it. The leg makes a great lever. All right, so I've kind of rattled on enough, and I'm kind of glad my signal held out, because, man, we have had some weather out here. It's been, if you are a swamp monster or a frog, this has been a beautiful time for you. But, man, it's been so wet and nasty and rainy, and just almost 2 solid weeks of this. And it looks like this weekend or this week's going to finish up doing some raining, and it's going to start clearing up next week. So we will hope and we will see. I think our worst fear is being destroyed financially. Well, that's why I say make sure you're ready, because here's the reality: poor people will probably never even notice. The rich people will notice, but the harder you struggle just to get by on a normal daily basis, the less you're really going to notice if the whole world goes to shit financially, because if you look in your wallet, it's usually pretty empty anyway. So, again, everything designed for fear. Just don't worry about the economy so much unless you are one of the uber rich that stands to lose millions and billions. The rest of us are going to be okay, because as soon as they shut the money down and everything goes to crap, the people like us, we're all capable. We have skills. We can barter. You can trade labor for food. You can trade food for uh, commodities. You know, so don't worry about that too much. Just get yourself ready. Make sure you have your supplies in your home. Make sure you got you some food and water, got your ammo, you got your equipment that you need for protection. And then, when it's time to ride, we'll ride. But until then, everybody just take care of yourselves, get yourselves ready. And I think with that being said, I'm probably done. Um, I guess I don't have that much in my chest over here, but I'm gonna give you guys just a minute to do whatever you do on D Live, and then I'm gonna open my chest and expose it to the world and see who gets the goodies. Um, my skill fixing things like cars, trucks, motorcycles. Good, Mark. Come over here. I need you to help me get my bike started. I'll even feed you. Personally, I don't think that's an excuse. There are ways to get the message out, and he isn't, whether or not it's being done purposely. Not sure if that was based on something I said or something that was set up above. I don't know. Um, DPFX, glad to do it. Glad to have you hanging out. All right. People are rocking it on D Live right now. And oh, well, thank you for the ice cream and the lemon. Mark B, appreciate you. All right. I'm getting over here. I'm getting ready. Gonna do it in five, four, three, two, one. And goodies are flying on D Live. Step right up, get them while they're hot. Let's see who gets what. Oh, it's still 18 seconds. 17. We got 15, 14, 13, well, 12 seconds now. Now we're down to 10, 9. They're getting ready. Things are going to start flying out of the chest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cha-ching! All of that digital currency flying out of there. Man, don't spend it all in one place. DM to Mod got the top spot. Slanty Schaefer Bear got a secondary. Duke Raw coming in a solid third, and Mark B bringing up the rears. All right, everybody. Thanks for playing. And we'll do that again, after I get a little bit left in there. All right. So, that being said, I think I'm done. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out. My mods, you guys rock the joint, keeping everything in order. We're going to stay in this fight. And that's why I always say it at the end of my show, because it's important. We have to be ready to protect ourselves and then willing to step up to protect others. And that's what I'm here for. All right, y'all. Let me find my cursor. Stay in the fight.